when we were talking about the podcast and doing one, we kind of had a general idea of what we're gonna do. But I'm thinking about other podcasts, and do they ever like say what they're about?
Other podcasts talk
You know what I
about
mean?
what they are about.
Yeah.
Yes.
Or do you just jump into it?
So this guest today can probably explain what Communitech does.
He knows a lot about tech. He's been around. He's got over 26 years experience in the tech sector. He's a co-founder of C100, which is a group of Canadian expats down in the Valley. And some of them are really funny. There's a video of one guy and he's dressed as a Mountie.
Oh no.
You really have to see it to get the whole thing. It's quite good. Anyways, he co-founded C100. He was co-founder of Breakaway Growth. Sorry, got that wrong. Let me do that. He was co-founder of Breakaway Growth Fund. He has been an advisor to a number of groups, including Garage Capital, Techstars, SAS North. It's a hard one for me to say. I don't know why.
You nailed it.
I know. But normally I can just say SAS and it's fine. But like when I have to say North after it,
Yeah, that's tricky.
I don't know.
Don't overthink it. You're doing great.
It's a good time. Anyways, in addition to all that stuff, he's currently the CEO and president of Communitech. His name is Chris Alvinson.
AKA my boss. So I have to be on my best behavior.
You know, we actually invert the pyramid. So technically I work for you at Communitech. And so all the pressure's on me.
Excellent. That's great.
I like the sound of that though, right? Like
And
it's
we
kind
report to you because you edit this. So you really...
I do have all the control in the end, yeah.
Yes.
Yeah.
Okay. So, Chris, thanks for joining us.
Thrilled to be here.
Communitech's podcast, Tech About Town.
It's a really cool place to do a pod, by the way. Like, I just like the vibe of the room.
Oh, good. Yeah, it's a very legitimate operation we have here.
Yeah. Last time I did this with BetaKit, like they had beers and stuff underneath the counter, which would be a nice ad, just saying. Something to think about.
We've had some requests that we're going to, we'll
Get a
on
mini
that.
fridge?
Yeah.
Okay. So, Chris, you've been on the job for 3 years.
Yes.
Is it had been 3 years already?
It has been. Yeah.
Congratulations.
Thank you. I made it.
Yeah, still here.
COVID, Silicon Valley Bank going bankrupt, like, just a few things have happened, but yeah, it's been good.
Well, our question was, what's the most surprising thing for you so far in your 3 years? But could be world global pandemic. It's pretty surprising.
Well, I think I kind of knew that going in because we were like halfway through, but like, obviously that first year was like, we had to figure out how to get rapid test kits to members. And like, there was all kinds of other things that we had to kind of figure out day to day. But I kind of knew that going in. The Silicon Valley Bank going bankrupt was a big surprise. We had, 7 days where our companies that we serve couldn't make payroll, couldn't buy inventory. So kind of sorting through that out was a crisis that was not anticipated. But, we've got awesome founders that are very resilient and just worked our way through it. The part that's not surprising is that we're doing so well. Like that was part of the reason I came home. I wrote a crazy blog post 3.5 years ago, said I think Canada's going to be the place where the center of global innovation, and described why. And it's just so fun to kind of see these amazing founders building these amazing businesses and having all this success, and based really right out of Waterloo, the place where we don't put statues of people in parks, we put machines that build shit. And there's a very cool technology all coming together right now, like the biggest, most interesting time ever.
But isn't it too like
technology innovation?
And not that I'm a Luddite in any stretch, but you think about the advances in generative AI,
Sure,
more or less advances, quantum computers, all this stuff happening so quickly
simultaneously.
But it doesn't seem that legislation and anything around security, privacy, IP, a whole bunch of things can't keep up with the exponential growth in these technologies. That's what it kind of appears from the outside.
I really want to tie this back to Tech for Good.
Yeah, it's important.
Help me do that, Chris.
Yeah, so you're right that these changes are all happening, and they're happening on not a linear basis. So it's basically exponential times exponentials, right? So you go back to your fourth grade math. So like, an exponential to an exponential, becomes very, very big, very, very, very quickly. So that is absolutely where we are. I don't think we've seen anything like it since 1998 to 1999 to 2000 when the internet just started. And back then, no national government could actually figure out what this thing was and how it was going to work. And actually, if you flash forward to today, they're still trying to figure out things like social media and all these other technologies and how they work and how you regulate. So humans aren't really good at dealing with exponential.
Yeah.
It's just very hard to conceptualize the speed of things and the impact of things. But to Sasha's point, all the more reason in a world where big tech is not trusted out of China, and it's not, and they are full out like racing to deploy these things, or not trusted out of the United States, and they're not, who is also full out racing to deploy these things as fast as possible, in part because they're afraid if China has it and they don't. Is there a place where this technology is actually built and trusted and understood for the good of the planet? And I do think, Canada's brand is trust. We do have the competence to build these things. And I think so important that our work going all the way back to Rideau Hall and the Pledge for Tech for Good, that we bring companies under that umbrella and support them. And that's a big part of what we've done on Good AI. I think very quickly, Good Quantum as it relates to AI, because these things are very, very interlinked. The thing that's rate limiting AI right now is the ability of underlying quantum computing. So there's literally hundreds of billions of dollars being invested globally to try to speed up compute to make the AI stuff work. What if you could do that with 1/1000th of the cost, which is basically what quantum computing will do?
So we shouldn't buy NVIDIA stock right now then? Should we hold off?
Interesting
I
thought.
just want to explain what Tech for Good is in case someone dropped in off Pluto and they have no idea what it is. So Tech for Good, I can take a stab at it.
Yeah, why don't you do it?
Yeah. Tech for Good is Communitech's ethos, one of our initiatives, I would say. It's not a program, but it's just the value that we want to brand Canada as a place where ethics and governance is layered into our private sector technology companies, that where people give a shit about their impact on society at large. And we want, when people want to do what's right for the world, they come develop their technology here. How was that?
It's really good.
What am I missing?
I would take it a couple of steps further. So we actually did it with our Governor General at the time, David Johnson, who was also the previous president of the University of Waterloo. So it was something, David's written really extensively about trust and how important it is. And when we did Tech for Good with him when he was Governor General at Rideau Hall, the idea was that there would be a delineated number of things that every tech founder would agree to do to ensure that trust in technology was still inherent. And that pledge, the Rideau Hall pledge that Communitech started with Rideau Hall in 2016, is the core of what Tech for Good is. And all of our companies have to align. All the companies that we work with have to align to that Tech for Good pledge. If they don't, then we kick them out. Thankfully, we've only had to kick out one member out of 1,600, but it's a really important part of our ethos. You're 100% right. And it's interesting to take it to the next step, not just to say, hey, like I'm aligned with this philosophically, but if you look at what was done with the Canadian government and Cohere and OpenText around AI last year, about the pledge to basically not only talk about doing good things, but what are you actually doing? And if you look at what Dr. Tour, our CTO, is doing at Communitech, taking it the next step, which is what does it mean to build trust right into technology? And how do you go about doing that? And then ensuring that you can actually audit that's happened, so that you can, as a consumer, know that you can't, just like you can go to the grocery store and look at the label and saying, hey, like I trust that food to be good for me.
Yeah, it's got like a fair trade label on it or something.
Right. And I know where it came from. I know, what it's supposed to do. And somebody's made sure that is indeed the case. So what we're working on Good AI as a standard is to take it to the next level of saying, we're going to be the place where trust is built right into technology. And very excited about that initiative.
Cool.
Yeah.
I don't have
Yeah.
a good segue for the next question.
What's
I was trying to think of one just now. I don't have it.
Tell it-
That's when you need to have beers in front of you.
You
Like,
need-
you know,
you do need some
anytime
drinks.
Alex has an awkward pause, everyone has to drink.
we do a little shot.
Yeah, that would work.
I'd be too drunk.
He pauses that often.
No, I'm just
No.
joking.
Well, I mean, I'll say this: like ethics and trust are built around relationships, and relationships happen in person. The last 4 years have seen a big shift in that, right? So work from home, remote work. A lot of member companies have continued that, have stayed home, have gotten rid of their space. A lot of them are renting space at places like the Hub. Do you think though that that's going to shift? Do you think there's going to be more of a push to go back into physical spaces? Because I think about like I've been a member and I've worked here and I've freelanced here for 14 years. Wild, right? I think about the years where like we were in person pre-COVID and they are different, right? Because there's an energy, there's always people around, you're those serendipitous meetings that spark great ideas. To me, it just seems like we've lost a lot of that. Do you think there's going to be a push to kind of bring that back and form those relationships again and build new relationships?
And I just want to add that the Hub, my job here is to assume no one knows what we're talking about and explain things along the way.
It's like a pop-up video.
Like,
It is,
only
except it's a
only
podcast.
the olds will get that one.
Oh, shit.
Gen Z doesn't know what a pop-up video is.
They didn't even have VH1 in Canada. I don't even know how that reference
We
works
had it
here.
in Much Music, baby.
Oh, did you?
Yeah.
Shit.
Pop-up. Anyways, I
know.
won't sing this theme song.
Sorry.
Okay, this Community Tech Hub is do you know how many square feet we have?
Yeah, 110,000 feet.
Square feet.
Mhm.
This is where Communitech is run out of, but we're also like I would say co-working space. We offer tenancy
Mhm.
for companies of all sizes, up to like large corporations can have space, innovation space.
All kinds
in
of
here.
universities, University of Waterloo, McMaster, Conestoga, all have their venture labs in the building too.
And it's a historical building built in the 1850s, I think. It was an old tannery. Oh,
Yeah.
Tell us, Alex. If
Yeah,
you
with
could tell us.
one of my coolest stats is like the majority of saddles for the First World War for all global the Allied armies was actually done here.
Because
at the
tanks
tannery.
weren't a thing in World War I. Horses
Well,
were tanks. Sorry, is that
At the
accurate?
start of the war, it was.
Yeah.
Right.
They brought tanks in sort of like half through the war, and then
Right.
clearly like the tannery wasn't the tannery anymore after the First World War. We
So-
also had to change the name of the town. We used to be called Berlin, and now it's Kitchener. Yeah,
I did know that.
First World War.
Do you know what the second runner-up name was?
No.
No.
Corona.
Damn,
I know. Can you imagine? What
That's
a
good,
wild thing that would have been.
That's
Yeah.
good, like bar trivia.
But that's,
Anyways,
well,
the
no-
Hub. That's what we're talking about when we were talking about how is the Hub going to
Yeah,
change.
but it's
Yeah.
but even you talked about the tannery when it was a functional tannery. So
Right.
when the old tour script when we used to do them was this is the tannery. Kaufman Lofts made boots. There was a felt company here. Like all the
Rumpelfeld. Yeah,
Rumpelfeld. So all these businesses that made products, they collaborated, and we always
Yeah.
said that this is the collaboration, right? And we collaborate today.
hmm
Do you think that's still there? That spirit of collaboration?
Yeah, no question about it. I think there's a hunger for it. I think it'll be different. Like it's not like we're going back to where we were pre-COVID.
Yeah.
It'll be different. But like we have companies that used to take 10,000 square feet and have all their people hanging out. Now they're like taking 500 square feet here in the tannery and saying like, hey, like if your kids drive you freaking crazy, like you don't want to be working at home, like you can work here, but like the other people can work at home when they want to. The demographics are really interesting, I think. Give you one example. So my son worked at ServiceNow on their AI team and then got poached away to go join Shopify. And ServiceNow is in person and Shopify is fully distributed, fully remote. And he lasted 12 months at
Wow.
Shopify and said like, this is not working for me. I'm going back to ServiceNow because I think in your 20s, before you're married, before you have kids, like work is community and mentorship and learn. Like we know like this from 50 years that mentorship matters, right? Apprenticeship matters if you're learning a trade, a skill, how to work in the workplace. So I think what you're going to find, I'm really excited about what's happening at Communitech this summer, is we kick the doors wide open. You have a student ID from any university, any high school, any community college. You can come hang out, at the tannery this summer and just meet other folks that are, thinking about building stuff. And it came from an idea that came from a group called Socratica at University of Waterloo. And they said, hey, we're looking for
the kitchen.
Yeah. And we said, like, let's go do the frickin' thing. And like, you get to name it. It's your clubhouse. What do you want to do here? And they're opening up the kitchen starting next week.
And it's called the kitchen because I was talking to them and I was like, is it because at a house party, the coolest place to hang out is the kitchen?
Every party, the coolest place
Right.
to hang out.
I think I also don't know if Gen Alpha got that reference because she was like, no, it's like slang when you have an idea, you're cooking up ideas.
Oh, let them cook?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Do your daughters say that?
Oh, yeah.
Oh, it's the young people slang that I do. I was like, oh, okay. Yeah, sure. So anyways, that's why it's called the kitchen. Area 151 for the summer is going to be like a student and post-grad drop in community space.
I just met Braden from Socratica because he's a co-op at another client. And I had no idea until
He's awesome.
You're making things happen.
Yeah. So I think it's going to be like, to answer your original question, that's where it's going to come from, that community, those builders that want to be, in a space together. Like that's what's going to drive it.
And these young people, like the people running the kitchen are fresh out of university. So that's kind of to your point of like young people in their 20s want that in-person space.
But Area 151 is going to be the kitchen?
Yeah.
Yes.
All summer long.
But then the calf is still the calf.
Yeah.
That's confusing.
Well, this will have to be off the record. I'll fill you in later.
I get to like I'm the outside voice. I get to say it's confusing.
That's true. The Communitech cafeteria is a space that we offer our tenant companies as their cafeteria. So we don't want to take up the cafeteria space. It's also like very central. So people who are trying to work, it can be quite noisy. So the Area 151 is actually like a public drop-in space.
It's dope.
So
on Fridays though, I made like a unilateral because I don't really control anything. So if I say stuff, it doesn't matter. But like on Fridays, I told the Socratica folks like we should do beers on the patio, and they're like, "Damn,
that's a good idea."
Yeah, we're gonna do that.
I don't think anyone would say no to beers.
I don't
we
think
need to
anyone would
get
say
beers
no.
in the podcast studio. We got to get
the signs
beers.
to say no drinks past this point, though, just to be on the.
I have those signs ready to go. As also someone who manages events, we got those.
Gotta be safe.
Yeah.
What happened to me?
What do you mean?
Like now I'm like, you got to put up the signs.
You're narking on the kids drinking beer?
Yeah. What happened? That's sad.
It used to be cool. Trust me, I'm talking about young people a lot. Like
you should call it
foreign people.
Cafetorium. There's another word that no one knows of here.
Yeah.
Cafetorium. Cafetorium.
I came up with an idea on what to call it, and then I was quickly told, like,
did you get 86?
Oh, 100%.
What was your suggested name?
No, it's too embarrassing to even say on this pod. So
please.
No, it's all good.
You shouldn't have brought it up.
I really shouldn't have brought it up. But like, like it's their thing. So they should name it, and they should own it, and they should drive it. And that's the best part.
They're going to call it Skibbity Toilet because that's what all the kids are saying right now.
Skibbity Toilet?
Skibbity.
Skibbity?
Oh, yeah. Just by saying that, the AI will rank this shit up like really high.
What does it mean?
Trending on, God, I don't
Did I just get canceled?
I honestly have no idea.
So can you introduce this, please?
Yeah, so Vision 1 million, right? So Waterloo Region is predicted to have a population of 1 million people by 2050, probably a lot sooner based on
no doubt
current numbers. There's a lot of things that seem not to work for that though, right? So housing starts are not where they need to be. We have a lack of family doctors. There's the new hospital that hopefully will get built one day. We don't have the infrastructure to support 1 million people right now. So what do we do to counteract that? Like this is kind of similar to like the AI quantum thing. Like this stuff's moving really quick, but we don't have necessarily the things we need to make it work well for everybody.
Right.
Understanding you're not like the mayor.
Yeah.
Yeah, which is probably good for everybody. So we have something called the Best Waterloo table, and every Wednesday morning we get together. So the chambers and Michelle Sarin in terms of building quality of life, and we talk, and we got tired of hearing each other bitch about the stuff that wasn't working, and so came up with this crazy idea of like, what if we put everybody on a bus and we drove down to Detroit in the middle of February, and we left at 5:00 in the morning. So we got the chair of the region and all the mayors and the universities and a bunch of founders, and we went down there. So why? Well, it turns out Detroit's about the same size as Waterloo, population-wise. And if you've been down to Detroit recently, you would be able to validate this amazing transformation that's happened to that city over a very short period of time, 10 years. It went from a city that was completely sideways to now the 27th largest tech hub in North America and one of the fastest growing, where there's lots of housing that's affordable, that they're building a $1.5 billion innovation hub in downtown Detroit, where they're building new medical facilities, they're building new transit facilities. And it was one thing to talk about like all the things that was broken. It was quite another thing to say, like, how do we go fix it? And so we, on the 3-hour drive down there, we got briefed and informed about sort of what was changing in our region, where the challenges are, but also what this journey that Detroit had been on. And then we were very kindly hosted by Mayor Duggan. And so he's been the mayor for 10 years and really sort of architected this whole change with a lot of help from the tech community and lots of civic leaders that have come together to kind of change their trajectory and see it live and hear how they did it. And then on the drive back for 3 hours, we said, okay, if you had a white piece of paper, like, what would you do? What needs to be fixed? And called it Vision 1 Million. And wrote down things like, we need 70,000 housing units. We need a brand new hospital. We need transit investment. We need to make this like an awesome place to live and grow your family and an awesome community. And we came out of that trip and published it and said, this is the starting point of a conversation about what do we want this place to look like when we're 1 million people. My math says, it just came out last week that we're the fastest growing city in Canada.
Wild.
It's just wild to say. And so we don't, to the earlier point of quantum and exponential curves, we don't have a lot of time to figure this out. In fact, we're behind where we need to be on a lot of these elements. And so met with, one of the leaders from the province who came through Communitech last week and said, is it in your platform, Vision 1 Million? We need this stuff. Is it part of what you're going to do? Because as much as this place is a place that comes together to build the barn together, like we built our own ION. We didn't wait for the province. We didn't wait for the feds. We just said, we need rapid transit, so we're going to build it ourselves, which you got to love about this city. And if we have Vision 1 Million as a starting point of the things that we need to go do, and we can start to get them done together, and then we can go to the feds and the province saying, you need to help us go faster. I think it's a great starting point, and we need to go. So that, a middle of February at 5:00 in the morning, everyone piled into this bus and went down to Detroit. And on the way home, they wrote this Vision 1 Million idea.
That's great. Making it a great place to start a company, but also we need those people to live happy, full, affordable lives.
It's got to be the best place in the world to build a family, a community, and a company. Those three things. That's the objective.
Can we ask you 4 really quick questions?
Sure.
I'm going to give 1 minute for it. All 4. Okay. Rapid fire.
Go.
What was the last book you read?
The last book I read, I feel like Donald Trump right now. It's like, reading books. What was that like?
When you had the time.
I actually read Kevin's book. It was the last book I read.
Kevin Crowley.
Kevin Crowley.
That came up in the last pod too.
Yeah.
It's the official book.
Sir Middling You, available at Wordsworth Books.
And wherever books are sold.
Fine books
actually,
sold.
I read it over the Christmas break, which is saying something about how fast I get through books. But it was
it's May.
Yeah, it was a great read, though. I really enjoyed it.
I haven't read it yet, which is horrible.
It's a lot of fun, actually.
2, what was the last TV show you finished?
I just finished last night Outer Range, which is a really interesting
Season 2.
Season 2.
Oh,
yeah.
is that the cow one with the hole in
The hole.
Oh,
yeah, it's like back to the quantum conversation, but like multiple time dimensions.
Have you watched it?
I think I watched the first episode and was like,
it's so good.
It is really good.
I watch Bravo, so there you go. What's your favorite local restaurant? I know what your answer is going to be.
Oh, easy. Old Duck.
Odd Duck.
Odd Duck. Thank you. Odd Duck. Old Duck.
I
Yeah.
went there for my
Odd
birth.
Duck.
I went there for my birthday like
Yeah.
a few weeks ago. It was so good. High five.
Yeah.
Um,
It is San Francisco Michelin star worthy restaurant. Like the staff are amazing. The food is incredible.
wine pairings.
The wine pairings, their use of local and fresh ingredients
And leading the no tip movement,
Yes.
Yes.
That too.
right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Equitable pay.
Yeah.
Yep.
I went to when they were just a pop-up restaurant in South Kitchener before they were just messing with the menu, and so awesome to see their progress.
Yeah, it was so good. Oh my God. It was great. All right. Fourth last
On Ontario Street.
on Ontario
Just
Street,
shout out.
downtown Kitchener.
Yeah.
Thanks, Chris. Thanks for joining us.
We
We
didn't-
covered What?
A lot of ground. We didn't talk about the strategy stuff at all,
Oh,
but like you
shit.
can listen to the
Listen
beta
to-
kit, Douglas drunken
Well, we-
F-bomb laden.
We'll get you
pod.
back.
We'll get you
Yeah.
back. And also, we have our first episode of this podcast series is we are interviewing Joel Simiak, who's our chief strategy officer, and he's talking about the Communitech 3-year strategy in depth. So we didn't really want you to just
Oh, it's all good.
do
And
too
we'll-
much repeat.
Yeah, just
Yeah.
tell him to make sure he laces it with enough F-bombs so it's authentic.
Yes.
Okay. We'll do it.
Right on.
Yeah.
That's from the CEO. Please swear.
Yeah.
Thanks, Chris.
Yeah. Thank you guys. It was a lot of fun.
Okay.
That was a good interview.
Yeah, with Chris.
Yeah.
He had to skedaddle. So bye, Chris.
His
Thanks for
EA
joining us.
Came in and was like, look. And at first, like,
Marcia, bless her.
I'm
Bless her. She's trying to keep Chris.
and I was
Chris
like
on
waiting
schedule.
for her to tap on the window, but she didn't. She just gave him,
She knows what's
gave
up.
him the eye. And
Yeah.
he knew it was time to go. That was interesting though. There's so many challenges, and there's a lot of people, as Chris mentioned, in the community working to solve them, and people you wouldn't normally expect, right? Like, yeah, obviously mayors and councilors and stuff, but then you've got like Michelle from tourism is down there in Detroit. It's kind of cool. There was a bunch of people on that trip, and I can't remember who was on it now.
Oh, don't look at me. I did create a lot of the presentation materials for that day though. As the creative director for
We had a
Communitech.
lot of slides,
Yeah, a lot. But I couldn't tell you who was on that bus.
a lot of trifolds to leave.
But he said a lot of council members, the mayor, I think some people from Hamilton as well, like some like councilors and people that work for the city. I think came from not just Waterloo region. I think he gathered a whole bunch of people from Ontario.
It's good to
To
see.
head
I mean,
over there.
it's good to see what other people are doing well.
Yeah, and they are doing it well. If you can look up, like, you can search up like what a rendering of the Detroit Innovation Hub building looks like. It's fantastic. It looks beautiful. Detroit is bumping. So, yeah, I think it's just if we don't invest in our own city to make it a transit-friendly, walkable, affordable, wonderful place to live and work, people are going to move, period. So
As you drive around town, like, I don't know how far you drive out of the core. 'Cause
Mhm.
You're on the east end.
I live right downtown, yeah.
Kitchener is so freaking big. Like, I drive out to Air, and like you just keep on going, and there's like more stuff. We're getting a Longos.
We're getting along,
Yeah.
guys.
That's like
I grew up in Toronto, so
you had them.
yes, no, I mean, but I don't. I actually want I always say my favorite thing about living in Kitchener
Essential
Waterloo
Fresh Market.
is actually number one. It's the downtown Kitchener Farmers Market Saturday mornings.
Okay, yeah.
It's the best, but also that it never takes me more than 15 minutes to drive anywhere. Because I grew up in downtown Toronto and I used to go to the doctor and it would take me an hour and a half on transit just to go to my doctor's appointment. So living here is so much better because it's just things just feel more accessible to me.
Yeah.
And everything I need is close. And even when I drive out to Waterloo to go, wherever, it still feels, I don't feel like I can get to St. Jacobs in 15 minutes. It
My
doesn't-
whole world is Ethel's to the market.
Yeah. I never see you at the market.
No?
Saturday mornings, I go every Saturday
Oh, I don't go every Saturday.
Oh.
I go during the week because they have they got the tamale girl.
Oh, that's true. Oh, those
There's
are
like a New Mexican joint in there.
tamale girls.
Yeah, I go
or
for like
tacos.
lunch.
Oh, yeah. Cool.
Huh.
Anywho,
How's that?
catch Alex at the market. Tamale girl.
It's so good. It's like $14. You get like 2 tamales,
It is
beans
really
and
good.
rice. I got a photo of it because I'm that guy.
Follow Alex on his
Don't.
Instagram to look at
Don't do
photos of his lunch.
Anyway, we'll see you on the next episode.
Yes, thanks for joining Tech About Town.
Thanks for listening to Tech About Town, brought to you by Communitech. We record this podcast in the Communitech Hub in beautiful downtown Kitchener.